Hello, everybody. Welcome to OK Every Day, a podcast about transactional analysis, or TA, where we continue diving into how to make our lives okay every day. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Ollie.
Now, before we get into today's episode, I'll ask you, dear audience, for a stroke. To keep us going with TA content, please click that like button, hit the subscribe for updates about new episodes, and press the bell to always be aware of new content. Whew. Now to the main event. And Jason, today we're talking about
Driver behavior, the be strong driver.
the
Or,
bee
yeah,
strong.
be strong.
I,
The,
th I,
the
th
deep
I, th
baritone, like, be strong.
I think we have to go down now. It's be strong.
I'm
Well,
not a very good impersonator. I think probably Arnold Schwarzenegger would be the. I can't do him though. I can't. Can you do Arnie? I can't do Arnie.
I can only do a few. We gotta get to the chopper
Chopper.
now.
That's it. That is it. Be strong in the chopper. Right. So that's the best kind of be strong voice that we can do.
Yeah, but I think Be Strong, like Arnold Schwarzenegger and kind of Sylvester Stallone,
Oh yeah.
those type of here, that's Be Strong impersonated, isn't it?
That's
That's
right.
them.
That's right. In the movies, we'll see how that works out when we get into the Be Strong Driver. But a lot of those characters had those traits, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen. So a lot of the drivers, and we're up to driver number four,
Hmm.
which is Be Strong. uh, they kind of speak for themselves. And so, what is it about being strong, basically? But there's always two sides of the coin, right? So, there's be strong in a productive way, there's be strong when it goes overboard. And basically, that's the driver when it takes you overboard and creates a disbalance in your life. So, what does that driver mean in TA terms?
Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on because with all the drivers, there's pros and cons. So
Right.
it's not about seeing them as completely negative. We need to get rid of them.
Mm,
Because and we'll see with this one as well. There are times when this driver is actually very, very useful, but when it gets out of balance, and then
mm,
we kind of what happens is we kind of get stuck in the driver, and the
right.
driver is driving us more, right? So,
Mm.
and like you were saying there, it does what it says on the tin. So the be strong driver has something to do with this idea of strength, right? So we got to be strong. Now, what does that mean psychologically, emotionally, and physically? So the physical side is quite obvious. If you think about Arnie and Sly, you can see the muscles on their body. So that's the physical strength. But
Right.
but then what does it mean emotionally and psychologically? What does it mean to be strong emotionally and psychologically? And there are times where we need to manage our emotions, right?
Hmm.
Because it might be inappropriate in that moment to be expressing a lot of emotions. Right?
Right.
So the be strong driver is very useful when, for example, we might need to get out of a situation. So something might be kind of upsetting us. Yeah, but we need to get out of that situation before we can actually allow ourselves to process the feelings that might be related to that situation. So in that case, we might show a bit of a kind of resilience, emotional resilience
Right.
towards getting out of that situation. This is where the be strong driver is really, really good.
Hmm.
But then conversely, if we are kind of parking our feelings and constantly not allowing ourselves to feel, that's going to
Right.
work against us, right? Because we're ignoring ourselves, we're not taking care of ourselves. So we're getting stuck in this driver like, oh, I can never feel or I can never show my feelings at all,
Mm,
ever to anybody.
mm.
And that's just not how we work as humans, right? So we need to be able to balance and take care of ourselves in the moment, emotionally,
Right.
psychologically, but then at some stage be able to connect in with somebody or with ourselves and express and allow that to pass through. Whereas if we keep on parking our feelings, that's going to catch
Gotcha.
up with us, right?
Wow. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. You know, the word that resonated a lot with the Be Strong driver, and if I think about it, it does resonate with other drivers as well. But I think it's the only one that specifically resonated with Be Strong is alone, being alone. It's kind of you feel very alone being strong, like you can't share the load with anyone. You just have to. It's just you that has to be strong.
Yeah, and that's the distorted message. You know, I,
Right.
I, I have to do it myself. Right?
Oh yeah.
I adjust myself always. Now, that's not the same as I need to get myself out of this situation. right? It's up to me to get myself out of this situation. Okay, that's okay. That makes sense.
Right.
But it's like, I need to, it's always down to me and nobody else. There's a kind of a don't trust type thing in there, as well as a don't feel. There's a kind of a don't trust going on there as well.
It actually might be a very good segue to some of the characters that we got prepared. And the first one is Batman.
I'm the Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm rich.
I'm vengeance.
Bruce Wayne. And the phrase, his quote from The Dark Knight in 2008 is, "I am whatever Gotham needs me to be."
Whoa, what a tough guy. What a tough guy.
No, but I mean, he believes that he must carry the entire weight of Gotham City
Mm,
on his shoulders, and it's only his responsibility.
mm.
You mentioned about the emotional aspect, right? He's deeply uncomfortable with emotional intimacy overall,
Yep.
and he resists any help from people at all. So it's Alfred or Rachel or anyone who's trying to help him. The
Yeah.
police commissioner, I think Gordon, they're
Mm.
trying to help him, but he just kind of no, no, it's all I'm supposed to be the one. I am Gotham. I am Batman.
Yeah.
It's my job, and that's it.
It's a brilliant example because what he end, especially with the butler, what was his name? Alfred. Yeah.
Alfred, yeah.
Um, like he keeps on pushing them away. You know,
Hmm.
they're there to help. They're on his side, you'd argue. So, but he keeps on pushing them away and isolating himself and thinking that he needs to do it by himself. And it's a great example, in particular because those stories can go quite dark, right? And what sits behind a lot of that story in particular is he hasn't resolved what happened to his parents, right? So his
Oh,
parents got murdered right in front of his eyes.
wow.
And I think even in the movie, his dad, might have said, be strong, take care of yourself, something like that. So he's pushing away the feelings that he has about the loss, the natural feelings he has around the loss of his parents, and he's turning it into anger, and he's kind of stuck
Mm.
in that, and he's out to get everybody. Get all the bad guys, I should say. So yeah, and again, he does it. He does take an awful lot on himself, and kind of goes into some dark places, right?
Yeah, both physically and mentally. So it's like I think one doesn't work without the other kind of in this regard. So he takes a lot of weight physically because he kind of battles all the bad guys.
Gets
Well,
hurt a lot, doesn't he? Physically gets hurt a
he
lot.
does get hurt a lot. I think at some point in one of the Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy, I think he breaks his back is broken.
Yeah,
Right.
goodness,
So
yeah.
like and he needs to heal from that and get out of a pit. And it's a cool story. But then again, I can't imagine, I had an injury last year and I can't imagine, just having that on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah. That's part of it. I'm gonna just take the pain. I'm gonna go take the pain. You know what I mean? Like, no, no, that's not good. But
Oh
the
God.
other side of that one as well, he pushes away love.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of stuck in this be strong kind of driver.
Mm,
He's out to get revenge for his parents, and actually that's destroying his life.
mm,
Because there's lots of people who love him and want to get close to him. And da, da, da. I think in the end, the last one there was a pretty happy enough ending. I think he got there in the end.
mm.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, and then we can move on to the next character that we got, which is as kind of they're very similar in that regard. The next one is Logan or Wolverine. The kind of guy.
Yeah, people say I look really like him. Uh, hey,
Spitting
why,
image.
why, why did you laugh?
I just imagined the beard, and yeah, like it's
Uh,
one to one, 1 to 1.
I'm not as good a singer as Hugh Jackman, that's for sure. But yeah, Logan, again, another tortured soul. A
Yeah,
lot of pain going on there. And he spends most of his time wandering around by himself,
true, 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 true.
rescuing a lot of people, getting into kind of saving people, but often he's putting himself and his body on the line constantly.
Yeah,
So I guess in these two themes for both of these guys, the Be Strong driver is causing them pain, long
and
term causing them pain.
and Wolverine can regenerate, and it's still causing him pain.
That's
So,
right.
but I think the one thing that those two characters are very similar is the pushing away emotional connections. Whereas even like in Wolverine's case, he's physically falling apart. and he's desperate. He's desperately needing care, but he rejects it with aggression and sarcasm. And this is like
Mm.
sarcasm. That's why I was kind of preparing for this, and I wanted to ask you a question. Would sarcasm be an indicator of some kind of driver? Would that be an indicator, for example, of be strong, or would it just be like a part of it, a
That's a
part of
really
any driver?
interesting question. I mean, like where my head is going is humor can be used in lots of different ways.
Right.
You know, it can be very, very discounting. If we think about TA language, or
Mm,
not fully accounting for somebody.
right.
So people can laugh away their painful feelings.
Mm,
And that could be part of a be strong. That they're putting themselves down, or they might be putting down somebody else. So if
right.
don't be so weak. It's kind of
Mm,
would be a kind of a message a young person might get around trying to express their feelings. Or they might be laughed at or jeered, right?
right.
So then, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to show my feelings again. So I'll start to live out this be strong driver.
Mm,
And then I might start to act like that towards somebody else. I might start
right.
putting them down. Or if
Mm,
they became a parent, it might kind of repeat itself. So yes, it could sarcasm could very well be part of the be strong driver, because it's saying, um, don't feel or don't show your feelings because that's weak.
mm,
And if you do, I'll jeer you and ridicule you,
wow.
or even myself.
It's
So could very much be in there.
it's even heavier than be perfect at some point.
It's a difficult one
Doesn't sound
because
nice.
no, it's gotten mixed up. There's a difference between managing our feelings
Mm,
versus ignoring our feelings.
right,
We do need to manage our feelings at times, but to not ignore them or put them down and see them as
right,
not important.
right. And listen, this is where the next character, now this is from an animation series, comes in. It's she. It's Elsa from Frozen, and kind of the fact that she's frozen and kind of cold.
Mm.
It's also that I'm assuming that's maybe a metaphor for kind of freezing emotions and not letting them through.
I think we could be onto something here.
I mean, maybe will this will change into an analysis of movies, and will this channel will blow up. But anyway, but her entire character is a battle against, or a battle kind of against the Be Strong driver generally, and her mantra is conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Kind of that's the mantra, right? It's
Well,
like
just based on that, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Frozen. I might have to get it back out and watch it. But just based on that phrase, conceal, don't feel,
yeah,
right? So, and I don't let them know or don't show them. That would
hmm,
absolutely be a be strong driver, right?
there you go.
That's reinforcing itself, because the idea in the be strong, the negative side of the be strong, I should say, is don't show your feelings,
Mm. And
swallow them up.
this is I'm going to use your phrase spot on because Elsa is taught that her safety and the safety of others depends on her emotional suppression, right? So the fact that she doesn't show these emotions actually keeps everyone safe, right?
Yeah, I remember now. Didn't she like? I think she whenever she had an outburst, her power would cause, I think, things to freeze.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think
then yeah, then she became very, very afraid of her feelings in general, because she thought they're just going to hurt people.
right.
I think so. That's where that came in. Yeah, that's a great example, Ollie.
And being strong in this case means kind of total isolation and absolute freezing of the feelings, right?
Yeah,
Of her
which
feelings.
is like I can't ever have feelings. Is
Right.
kind of where that's going, and that's not possible, right? And it's just going to go down a very negative, kind of lonesome, isolated way, and we can't live like that.
And I'm seeing a pattern across these three characters that we've talked about. They're very isolated. They're very lonesome. They don't kind of involve people in their life as much as they maybe should, which would be interesting to include the next character, which is from another animated series, Mr. Incredible or Bob Parr from The Incredibles, right? Because it's a different character because he's got a family. So he's got a wife and three kids, right? So and he loves his wife, and so
Much
he's
so.
fully invested in the family life. But then again, he's got this kind of hero life, which he tries to hide from his family because the era of the superheroes have ended, and everything, and all of that. He believes that his job is to work alone, and hence the phrase "I work alone." So even when he's kind of forced into a normal life, he still maintains this kind of rigid, stoic facade, hiding his secret vigilante from his family because he thinks that'll protect them and that the kind of hiding it from them, hiding the truth from them will protect the family first and foremost.
Yeah. So he doesn't want them to get hurt.
No.
He but also he's not talking to his wife. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, so he's keeping this part separate, and obviously it ends up working against him, right, in
Yep.
the end. But as soon as they do talk, and then everybody's on board, that it has a
They
great
work
ending.
together.
Yeah, absolutely, and they really enjoy it, and things go on and
Especially
have
I love how they
a
work with
lot
the
of adventure.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the key there was it took him quite a while to share it, but when he shared it, it worked out well, and it was the not sharing it that was kind of eating him up and leading him down kind of the not so good path. Um,
Right.
and I remember actually one of the reasons he kind of got into the kind of doing the superhero stuff again was he was so bored in his job. Do you remember he was
I think it was
like
an insurance kind of broker or
but he just really he was trying to help I remember him trying to help an old lady with her claim, and he was getting in trouble for that, and he gets really really frustrated, and he lashes out, and so he's not controlling his emotions right then and there, so then he diverts it. So that's another great example of um kind of it's like trying too hard, like
right.
as you said earlier, a lot of these drivers can feed off each other.
Mm,
So he was trying too hard in one area and then ended up being too strong in another, and it was kind of all out of balance. And
mm.
funny enough, we've kind of segued into workplace because this this
Yeah, true.
this this came out of his workplace. He wasn't happy, so we probably have some examples from workplaces in real life, right?
Look at this flow of today's episode. It's just going like knife through
I
butter.
tell you, good segue there, I thought.
Like it's like we planned it kind of. But yeah, on the workspace, I mean, listen, I think this is one of the drivers that would be very visible on the in the workplace. And there's like I've identified three, I want to say applications or manifestations of Be Strong at the
Yeah,
workplace.
or how it might show up, right?
Yeah, how it shows up. There's undeniably there's much more than three. I think it just we'll focus on these three. And one of them is called the invulnerability mask, or I like to call it more stupid versus stoic, you know?
Okay.
Because and we actually had a discussion around this, the what is stoicism? Because you mentioned, can you say what you mentioned around what stoicism is now?
Yeah, it's gotten kind of distorted. So Stoicism is kind of an ancient Greek ancient Greek philosophy. So they practiced
Yes.
this. One of the most famous people is Marcus Aurelius, who practiced a lot of this, and a lot of people have his book. He had this kind of famous stuff he'd quote every day. But with Stoicism, a part of Stoicism is being able to manage your emotions. That's what it is. So it's being emotionally resilient, right? So
Yes.
not letting ourselves getting overwhelmed, getting overly afraid of something, or overly sad or overly angry, not overly anything. Do you know what I mean? So it's about managing our emotions. That's where it came from. So we get the best out of ourselves and out of the situation.
Yes.
Over time, it's become detached from that. And often when
Mm,
people use the word stoic, they're talking about not having emotions at all,
mm.
being emotionless,
Yeah.
right? And that's a great injustice, to the original writers. So when people say you got to be stoic, it means kind of straighten up,
Suck it up, suck it up, kind of.
that's right. Just put on the stony looking face and don't let anything in. The kind of way, and that's a mistake, right? And I think that's what you're touching on there with the phrase, right?
Exactly, kind of stupid versus stoic, because we actually dove into the definition of stoicism, right? And it's the focus is on developing personal virtue, wisdom, what you mentioned, emotional resilience, and focusing on what you can control and accepting what you cannot. And that sounds really, really useful in an everyday life, versus oh, I'm just not going to feel anything
Mm,
now
mm.
because I was told not to. But the stupid versus stoic is exactly what I was going for there because like a lot of people and I'm sure you've come across those people. I've or been these people as well because I've been there as well on the giving end of this. Is like I would come in saying, you know what, I'm fine. I've got this covered, and I haven't slept in 3 days.
Mm.
It's like it's I'm not fine. I need a rest, and I need to ask for help. And that's the be strong driver in its manifestation, saying, oh, you know what, I'm not going to show anyone that I'm not doing well, and I'm going to try and do this by myself, even though what I really need to do is either get some sleep, ask for help, or
Yeah,
whatever else, but just get some help and not carry the burden like Bruce Wayne, just
yeah.
by himself.
And it's like, I'm gonna show everybody I've got this. When it's quite obvious they don't. They look shattered. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's why
yeah.
people are concerned. But they're just pushing it away. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. No, no, don't worry about me. It's like, well, no, actually, we need to because you don't look well. So that it's kind of having to break
Like,
through that driver.
a twitching eye, and it's like,
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, like for real, like, because they're not taking care of themselves. They're going to. That's the negative side of the be strong driver.
exactly. So the other part would be difficulty in delegating, and I've actually seen this across multiple drivers as well. Be
Mm.
perfect, please others as well. So it's like it's difficulty in delegating, and how it comes up in be strong. It's the struggle is to hand off any tasks, and if one would delegate, they might take the work back at the first sign of struggle, just thinking it's easier if I do it myself. I'll just do it by myself. That's it. I'm the stoic, right? So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
struggle.
yeah, and uh, again, you'll see with a lot of these drivers, it might come from caring place, but it's gotten
True.
completely out of balance because somebody might say, well, I don't overburden my team, so I'll do it all myself. It's like, well, there's way too much work for one person for a start, and you're already maxed out. So that
Yeah.
in their head, they might be protecting the team, but they haven't even checked with the team to see would they be open to taking more work or taking responsibility here. So
Yeah.
the be strong is kind of shutting something down without
Yeah.
letting it kind of uh, uh, be put out there. And because if I put it out there, I'll be seen as vulnerable, or that I'll have to rely on somebody else, or that I'll have to trust, or whatever. And they see the negative part of the be strong driver sees that as negative when actually
Hmm.
it isn't.
Hmm.
That's called teamwork. You
Yeah.
know, that's what teamwork is.
And the
You
person the
share.
the person becomes a bottleneck, right? So that like everything is just it doesn't go any further because just everything is accumulated with that one person.
Yeah, and I love how you connected it with the be perfect in particular, because there is a holding on here.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? In this case, it's feelings. So I can't show my feelings. I'm just going to hold on to them or push them down, and they'll go
Mm.
away. Well, they won't, or they'll go away for a period of time, then they'll come out in a different way. So they'll end
Yeah.
up getting really stressed. They might get burnout. They might make loads of mistakes, and then feel
Hmm.
even worse. So it creates this terrible kind of
Well,
self-fulfilling prophecy.
yeah, I don't know how this is working, but the next point is actually building on top of what you just said. It's emotional detachment and isolation. So that's
Right.
the third manifestation of the Be Strong driver at work, because a lot of the time, professionalism and lack of emotion could be, equated, as in that's kind of the same thing. So if you're professional, then you're kind of strictly stick to agenda, to the meetings, to the facts, and that's all you do. You avoid a water cooler conversation, or a small talk, which helps you just fine tune a team dynamic versus actually make a team dynamic, but it helps you get together and work together as a team. And sometimes this kind of water cooler conversations or whatnot could be even perceived as soft, which is exactly not the case. It's just part of the culture, right? So, and I think that kind of behavior, which is, in my understanding, a manifestation of the Be Strong driver, it's also a negative contributor to a psychological safety within the team. Because
Mm.
if you're always this poker face type person that shows no emotion, then how would people feel okay to come up to you and ask any advice or share that they're not feeling well or whatever it may be, just have a like a regular human conversation for crying out loud, but
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to.
I mean, the irony here is the stronger the team, the more bonded they are.
Yes.
So if you think about strength in a different way, so they're bonded because you've put in that time, you've gotten to know them, and you've built up that personal relationship, as well as being able to manage through difficulty and challenges, because that's part of the deal. As
Right.
opposed to what you're describing as this detachedness, this kind of
Mm,
coldness, this overly, it's like there's way too much personal distance going on there.
right.
So, and people don't warm to that. They don't like that. And
Mm.
actually, I would say that, mostly for the person who's doing it, they probably don't like it either. They're just stuck in kind of a way of being that's not that helpful. I mean,
Right.
it's all business, and they're emotionless,
Mm.
and that would be a very, very negative consequence of a be strong driver going way too far, you know?
Right. Yeah, well, th those were the three applications at work of Be Strong. How do you think we've progressed so far with the Be Strong driver?
Really good.
Are,
And we need to look at the antidote, which is which
what is
is
the antidote?
opening up, so allowing oneself to feel. Right. Now,
Mm,
again, if you think about the proper use of the word stoicism, it's about managing our feelings. So it's not just about opening up and going, yeah, that's not okay either, right? Because that will cause not okay behavior, right? So you might scare somebody, for example. You know what I mean?
wow.
But to be able to share our feelings in an okay way,
Right.
that's not too intense, that we are acknowledging them, that we're not pushing them away and repressing them, right? Or even to invite that in others to say, it's okay to talk if you want to talk, right? So this is important. We are colleagues, but we're also humans, right? So being
Hmm.
able to open up and share and acknowledge we do feel,
Just
right?
remind that, yeah.
In a balanced way. Got to remember the balance.
Mm,
So that's the main antidote for the Be Strong driver. And again, if we use a lot of, I think we did a good job here today in,
right.
in in painting a picture of what it looks like and sounds like. So if we're finding we're isolating ourselves, we're going off, we're thinking we have to do it all by ourselves, we can't let anybody in. That's a good indication that we're too far along the line with this Be Strong driver. So therefore,
Mm,
do the opposite. Don't isolate, connect. Don't
mm.
go quiet, talk. If you think
I
you need a
like that.
hand, ask for it. You see how, and let the other person kind of take on board some what's going on. And humans being humans, more often than not, the other person would be more than happy to listen and help and even share some of the load
Right.
if it's a workload, right?
I like that. Yeah, it's so the disbalance of the Be Strong driver is when you're not able to manage your emotions, when you isolate yourself. And the only way kind of to tackle that is basically open up, talk to other people, uh, be okay and try to invite the okay behaviors from as yourself and from other people.
Spot
Right.
on.
And that's amazing. I think that's a great way to kind of to wrap up our session today. And listen, dear viewers, dear listeners, thank you for being with us on this episode of OK Every Day, where Jason and I talked about the Be Strong Driver. Did you like the video? If you did, press the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in TA content, amazing, you're in the right place. You can click the subscribe button down there and it will keep you informed of every OK Everyday new episodes coming out. In any case, we really hope that you stay OK
Every day.
every day.